This guy's last name was heavily suited for hockey because the word Gagne in French means win or winner. But Arthur Edward Joseph Gagne had a prestigious minor and pro career with numerous squads. Born in Ottawa, Ontario, October 12, 1896, he played mostly with the Edmonton Eskimos of the Western Canada Hockey League before going to the NHL and other major leagues over his career. Now, in 1926, he moved to the Montreal Canadiens of the NHL. He also played with the Great Regina Capitals, Boston Bruins, Ottawa Senators, and the Detroit Falcons. Now, Gagne, who scored 100 points in his 228 NHL game career, was a consistent scorer. Now, again, he broke out in with the Ottawa Aberdeens of the OCHL in 1915 and also played with the Ottawa Royal Canadiens that year. He was back with the Aberdeens in 1916, then the Ottawa Grand Trunk in 1917, and then he also skated with Laval University for a few games as well, our university-based squad. Now, in 1918, he skated with the Quebec Suns of Ireland, where he had 10 points in 4 regular season games, including 9 goals, and then moved on to the Quebec Montagnards of the QSHL, where he had 7 goals in 5 games and 5 goals in the playoffs. Now, like I talked before, but the Edmonton Eskimos participation, he started with the Edmonton Eskimos in what was called then the Big Four League. He had 13 points in 15 games in 1921. The 5'7", 160-pound right winger, second season with Edmonton, 22 points in 20 games, including 15 goals, and 23. He eventually scored 20 goals for the first time, 43 points in 29 games. Now he moved on to Regina Capitals over 1924 and 25, and then found himself back with Edmonton in 26, where he had 45 points in 24 games, including 35 goals. Now, this is where the NHL comes in. 27, 28, and 29, he played with the Montreal Canadiens. Best season was 1928, where he had 20 goals in 44 games and 30 overall points. He moved on to Boston and Ottawa in 1930, combined 39 games. And with the Senators in 31, he almost scored 20 goals again, 19 goals in 44 games. In 32, he played with the Detroit Falcons of the NHL and then with the Detroit Olympics of the IHL. Now, in the mid-1930s, he found himself back with the Edmonton Eskimos of the WCHL and the NWHL. Over 3 seasons, 33, 34, and 35, he had 25, 18, and 20 goals. And he ended up with the Edmonton and Seattle of the NWHL in 36. Ended up 27 games, 11 goals, 9 assists for 20 points. So a very, very big part of Edmonton hockey history, of Quebec hockey history, of Regina hockey history, the various early years of the NHL, leading into what is considered a pre-Second World War era, where the fan base was growing quite high. And by the way, WCHL, WHL total, some really impressive numbers. 139 points in 126 games, including 87 goals. Now, NHL playoff play, he had 2 goals and assists for 3 points in 11 games. And he scored his first NHL playoff goal with Montreal in 1928 in an unsuccessful run for the Stanley Cup that year. So the idea about the early players for the Montreal Canadiens, they came from everywhere. And this guy, again, came from the Edmonton program, which people were wondering years later why Edmonton was ever awarded a franchise in the NHL. Well, we see players like Art, where they had made so much impact. The Edmonton teams and programs and minor and major junior squads, they deserved to be the WHA. So at one point, he was the most famous Gagne of his era. Of course, later on with Eric Gagne of the Dodgers and various Gagne athletes through the years. But when you have a player that his last name is Winner, you know you got to be good at hockey. And like I said, that's why we're doing this tribute today. If you like what we're doing with our Vintage NHL podcast, please let us know. Like, comment, or subscribe. If you like to make a comment, also consider we do requests. So if there's something we can find out for you on one of your favorite players, we're glad to do it. Anyway, that's the Legend of Art Gagne. Thanks for listening. Bye.